This video is going to be a look at the Lions' fourth possession in their win Saturday night over the Broncos. Of course, it was a relatively dominant performance on both sides of the ball. Broncos had a little flurry offensively in the third quarter, able to generate 10 points. A goal line stop pretty much by the Lions' defense, forcing them to settle for a field goal. Other than that, Lions were completely dominant on both sides of the football. Defense was overwhelming in the first half, only allowed 75 yards, and the offense gets 3 touchdowns here in the second quarter. I'm only going to focus on this fourth possession from a possession standpoint. I'm not sure if all people enjoy these videos, some do. I'll show the all 22 and end zone angle footage from a couple of these plays, culminating in the touchdown pass to Sam Laporta, a design play. You got 11 personnel, this first and 10 from the negative 20. Broncos have responded with their 5-1, 3 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers, 1 inside linebacker remaining. That's your 5-1. Some people call it a 3-3, but it's not a 3-3 alignment. Anybody who's ever coached in a 3-3 knows a 3-3 stack is 3 down linemen, 3 inside linebackers, or 1 Mike linebacker and a Sam and a Will. But in any case, the right tackle is pulling and kicking out the edge defender. Don't get a real extreme expansion of the edge defender here. Montgomery downhill, going to sneak inside. One thing it's always scared me about one inside linebacker looks is what happens if that guy gets blocked. Yeah, there's a nickel defender and other safeties to get involved. Don't get me wrong, but I never feel like the 5-1 look aids these teams in stopping the run. This is 6 yards that could have gone for more. Montgomery, gets spun down. There is a combination of Singleton trying to defeat the block. We'll give you the end zone angle. The right tackle, Sewell, is the puller, and he's going to kick. All down blocks on the front side. Very similar to what the Bills and Vikings ran against the Broncos. Pulling tackle seemed to give them trouble. Singleton, who came into the game with 138 tackles, involved in the play. Additionally, the right side safety, 6, is going to come downhill once he gets his run read. It's too late, for me at least, 6 yards. Unsuccessful play, I'd say, defensively. I think you're kind of losing by alignment there. Very next play, 2nd and 4. And you can see that they've switched personnel groups now. 12 personnel for the Lions. You get base by the Broncos, so they're base 3-4. And you get a 4-yard run to the left side, to the tight end wing side for Montgomery. You get basically a double, attempted double by the 2 tight ends on the edge defender. Unfortunately, the D tackle and left tackle have kind of expanded into their space and kind of messes up or muddies up that double team, that combo. Edge defender is able to fold back inside, get involved, and then the D tackle also is able to slide off of Decker and get involved in the play. End zone angle, same place. What I'm talking about is these two are going to combo, double team the edge defender. This guy's in like a 5 technique down here. Basically got an underfront by the Broncos. A 1, a 5, and a 9, and a 3 and a 5 weak. It's the under. Slid 50, if you will. The double team on those guys is more difficult to get accomplished because Decker and that 5 technique have kind of expanded into a zone. It allows the edge defender, 59, to fold inside, which goes against the blocking scheme of the play. He wouldn't normally fold inside of C-gap because that's where the DN lined up. Worked out in their favor, nonetheless ends up being a first down. So very next play, third play, last play of the first quarter, by the way, you got Jumbo 13. 6 offensive linemen eligible. 2 additional tight ends. So we'll call Skipper a tight end and say it's 13 personnel or Jumbo 13. Talked about it in the reaction video briefly. So the Broncos are into their base defensive coverage. To the boundary, they're walking number 6 down. After 2 consecutive run plays, Goff with a real nice play fake kind of freezes these guys just enough. You can see they do actually recognizing it pretty well, if you ask me, to stick that ball in there. The design of the play takes Brock Wright to the field, clears out that inside linebacker, in this case Singleton, and Goff throws it directly behind him in front of Josie Jewell, the other linebacker, and you got an 18-yard gain to end the first quarter. Second quarter, a true 11 personnel because you got 3 receivers on the field. Reynolds, St. Brown, and I think Raymond. Maybe that's DPJ up there. Only 1 tight end. It's Brock Wright. This actually works out better later in the game. I think the Lions ran this action twice more to the opposite side. You can see St. Brown is moving to the edge defender. He's going to slide past him out into the flats. The reaction, I think this is Ben Johnson probing the reaction here off of this defender. In this case, he folds inside. You've also got some pressure from a backside DB blitzing. I think it's McMillan for a tackle for loss or maybe a 0-yard gain. Later on in the game, same action from Ben Johnson. St. Brown slides out into the flats for a big gain. 2nd and 10. I think it's DPJ on a Z under concept out of trips. So 11 personnel. Nickel 5-1 again by the Broncos. So my apologies. That's an inside linebacker standing up there. So this is a 4-2 nickel by them, a more typical one. But Jewell is coming on a stunt. DPJ short catch. This is when the crowd got really loud because I understand he's a hometown guy. So a short catch there underneath. It's going to create a 3rd and 6. I like the design of this. You're getting this very similar route that Laporta's used often on 3rd down to either sit down somewhere near the top of their numbers or in some cases, continue on and let another player run onto that space. In this case, Goff doesn't get there in the read. He chooses to get it to DPJ first. Now, this is amazing. This is Laporta, 11 personnel. Again, 3rd and 6, just crossed midfield. Mug look by the Broncos, and Laporta decleats the edge defender, the pass rusher, and then goes to the ground himself. Goff, as you can see, is looking to the right side here. You got a snag and a flat. I would say that this is probably a man type of route release by Gibbs, where maybe Gibbs is going to run a wheel, and Reynolds is going to try to pick his guy. Goff has moved off of it to the other side, got nothing here. Nothing here. Comes back to Laporta underneath the zone coverage over to that side. Converts it for an 8-yard gain. Well, let's see it from the end zone angle here in a moment. It's a nice job, if you ask me, of Goff working right to middle to left in his reads. And also Laporta regaining his balance after going to the ground. Pretty interesting for me on this one that the edge defenders lined up outside of Laporta. And he still ends up knocking him to the inside here. So 56's path with Laporta stepping outside isn't recognizing any movement by Laporta at all. He's not reading at all. His eyes are totally in the backfield. And as such, he's surprised when Laporta decks him. Laporta goes down, 4 points of contact on the ground. Both hands, both feet. Able to get back up. Goff finds him. Thought that was an important play. After being stopped on the first 3 possessions, this one gets him a first down, gets him to the 40. To that point, I don't know that Goff and company had converted a 3rd down against the Broncos. And the announcers made sure to remind us multiple times that there were no 3rd down conversions allowed the week before. So we've got a 1st and 10 from the 40, and I think you're going to see the gravity of St. Brown at play here. Additionally, it's just the design of the play. It's under center 11 personnel. Play action. And Reynolds on the dig that I think is like his patented route. I mean, he's been running this stuff since week 1, but the design of it. St. Brown pulling the nickel defender with him, running right at the free safety in the middle of the field. Reynolds hedging outside just enough to where he can bring this route back under. Potential 3rd route underneath from the opposite side. You can see the potential, the conflict that's created. Goff is letting go of the football already. Reynolds breaking open underneath of 23. I think it's Moreau. Big play, I think 19 yards, 21 yards. Sorry, something like that. Reynolds had another 21-yard catch later in the game on one of those little fades from under center. In time, offensive line made things look great for Goff. I mean, when he's in time, clean pocket. Very next play, similar conceptually in terms of St. Brown clearing out an area. The only difference with this is now in this 11 personnel group, St. Brown's in the backfield and Gibbs is out at wide receiver. So using his gravity and using hopefully the Broncos' ability to recognize him in the backfield, because some teams have not, and then running him on a wheel from the backfield against the motion of Gibbs. I think this is all very intentional. Get the initial motion by Gibbs across, St. Brown going to release and then run the wheel. You guys might be losing part of that because of the frame there. My apologies. And then Laporta all the way from the other side of the field, running onto the space that St. Brown and his defender are going to vacate to the far side of the field. Josie Jewell a little bit too late recognizing it. And then Laporta jukes him with a slap anyway. Gets into the end zone for the Lions' first touchdown of the game, first score of any kind at that point, because the Lions were able to force a turnover on the Broncos' first possession when they got inside the red zone. I love the idea of using St. Brown's gravity as bait for the defense. Running Laporta onto that space, very similar to something that Greg Roman and the Ravens used to do a lot of in 2019, where it was with motion, however. I'll try to illustrate it here. Imagine Gibbs is originally starting over here, the right-hand side of the formation, the bottom side of our screen. And then he's motioning across and running a wheel. We'll ignore the reality that St. Brown is the guy who runs the wheel. What Greg Roman and those guys would do a lot of in 2019 was pre-snap, that was your motion. Post-snap, the second tight end or second player would run into the same space. It was almost like running the same route twice, except layering them time-wise to allow one guy to clear out the area and the second route to run on top of it. I would say conceptually similar to Josh Reynolds' 21-yard catch on the previous play, except St. Brown and Josh Reynolds weren't running the same exact route. St. Brown's was a clear out route. This one's a wheel. Laporta's running the drag. So, again, not the same route, but running into the same space, and you can see their two helmets kind of staggered here just enough. I'd say they're a little tight to each other timing-wise, but St. Brown's coming from the other side of the field. I really love the play. I haven't seen this play. First of all, I haven't seen this play this year with St. Brown in the backfield, and I'm sure that if he's open, Goff's going to throw him the football, no doubt. But this, to me, seems very intentional about the design, and the other routes, I think, are just complete clear-out routes. Jamison Williams up here, Reynolds to the far side. To me, this looks like a two-receiver route back to the backside where the Lions kind of knew what they were going to get. Goff got the look they anticipated. Nickel defender folds inside. St. Brown's route occupies that nickel defender. The corner is the same guy that I spot shadowed a minute ago with Jamison Williams. Goff gets a wobbly pass out there. One of his 5 touchdowns. This one, the first one, to Sam Laporta to cap the fourth possession. Put the Lions up 7-0 in a game that through the first 6 possessions, or 3-3 for each team, I was a little uneasy because I was recalling some of the moments where the offense had struggled earlier on, but then this big explosion, almost kind of reminded me of a boxing match where 3 knockdowns in one round kind of ends the fight. Again, it's boxing only, and the ref stops it because of 3 knockdowns. That's what this reminded me of. The Broncos were able to kind of get up off the deck and get that one score, that one touchdown, I should say, to open the third quarter, and the Lions just kept on scoring. Finished with 42. The final nail in the coffin being what I called the FU touchdown in the reaction video. You guys let me know if you enjoy the possession style or drive style videos. I think the next one I'm going to put out about the Lions offense is going to be on Ben Johnson's tendency or propensity to run the ball into the boundary. One of the people in my Lions Discord, Patreon, went back and watched the game and tracked it. I think 12 runs to the boundary in the second half by the Lions, 1 run to the field in the second half, and 2 up the middle. Extremely high percentage, more skewed than I even thought. So I've gone back already and kind of prepped some film in terms of runs from the hash, not middle of the field runs, but from the hash, runs to the boundary, to the field, or what we would classify as middle. And the percentages, it's actually a more balanced percentage than I thought, but the second half usage against the Broncos Saturday night was not. 12 to the boundary, 1 to the field, and 2 up the middle, if we're to believe the numbers that he compiled, and I do. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know if you'd be interested in that video that takes a look at, very specifically, looks at Ben Johnson really abusing the Broncos' run defense to the boundary on Saturday night. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Lions fans would appreciate this video and enjoy it, let's look at their 4th possession first score of the game on Saturday night, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.